I assume everything's working. Stream Elements is still kind of fucked. OBS is... hopefully... I don't think OBS is the problem here. I assume it's Stream Elements, so... we're just gonna roll with it, and, see what there is to see. Alright, people. Hello, welcome. So, fortunately enough, this came just in time. You know, it's beautiful. It's incredibly deadly for you. Today, obviously, we're gonna be fixing shoes on stream. Because I believe this is wow. The printing on this one is actually kind of fucked. That's fun. It's all doubled. Well, of course I am joking. I am using this for the purposes of cosplay. I do actually have some shoes that I need to fix, so, probably also gonna be using it for that as well. But yeah, since I have my barge contact cement, today we are actually working on the Anja armor. I am not going to be crocheting on stream. Although, seriously though, I was all ready for it. I got my, I pulled out my crochet yarn right here. My crochet thread, forgive me. Lace yarn, whatever you want to call it. There's supposed to be a difference between thread and yarn, but I do not know the difference. It's probably related to how many strands you have in the twist. Like, I actually do not know. Threads are for sewing and embroidery, while yarn is used for knitting, weaving, and sewing. Okay, so apparently that's the difference. That's... okay. Why is... okay. Hello! Welcome, welcome. Fuck. I have... interesting. This should be on? Hello? I'm gonna turn this down. Yeah, I don't know why that is. I think Stream Elements did an update, and it's apparently fucked up the audio in some way that I do not know how. And obviously I didn't bother to troubleshoot between here and when I last streamed, which was Friday. Yeah. How am I? I am doing fairly well. I hung out with friends on Saturday, which was fun. Except I was incredibly socially awkward because, I'm always actually kind of socially awkward. Because, at least for me, I've met these people before, I know these people, but I am, shall we say, just kind of terrible with human interactions until, like, I feel like there's a point of time where I finally get to know you. Oh, okay. Huh. That's interesting, because I've never actually had to fuck around with that. It's always been... shit. It's always worked for me. Like, I've never had to actually fuck around with, like, the settings on that. Wow. We're doing beautiful! This is definitely the, time to fuck around with microphone stuff. 100%. Oh, wait a minute. Oh my god. That's why. Hello? Now this should be okay. Wow. So when it updated, it was using the microphone from my webcam, this webcam up here, and not my actual chat thing, which I did not expect to happen. I guess I always just set it on default without even thinking about it, and, I was kind of wondering that. I was like, why is there so much background noise? That shouldn't be a thing. But, now we figured it out. Okay. Now yeah. What was I gonna say? So contact cement arrived, which is good. so I can continue on with my armor stuff. I'm not gonna crochet armor on stream this time, but I don't know. Donation, the subscriber incentive. Get to 10 million subscribers and I'll release a crochet armor pattern for an armor of your choice. Sure, whatever. I actually think there's some, I think crocheting armor out of wire has some interesting possibilities, but, I don't know if I want to be the one who explores those possibilities. Alright, guys, let me just do the usual thing before I get to actual work stuff, which is, don't, use barge cement in a area that is well ventilated. I have 2 windows. I have one here, and one here. They're both open. If I was being truly responsible, I would have a fan blowing all the contact cement fumes that away to my open window. I am irresponsible, so I don't. And also don't heat foam in a non-well ventilated area as well. Yeah, so with that, let's kill ourselves. Oh god. A friend gave me this fancy, like, heat gun that does the temperature control and stuff, and I actually kind of hate it, because... oh my god. Oh my god. Like... so I know contact cement is bad. That's why when my first, cosplay project, I actually used rubber cement. Not contact cement, but, I got tired of it. Also, it doesn't work as well as contact cement. But to be honest, I see a lot of people be like, oh yeah, it was hey! Oh, it's okay, man. God. Oh my god. I feel like I'm free, actually, maybe. Crossing my fingers, maybe. Well, I started school, right? So that's a thing that's happening, but, I feel like I don't have anything planned for the weekends. Hopefully. Next weekend is armor a crunchy candy roving, or is it more like a wrapper? Feels like it's a crustacean shell, right? So you got the soft fleshy cosplayer on the inside. On the outside, it's kind of like that crab armor shit. And so, like, if you boil and steam the cosplayer, their armor will turn red, and you can crack it open and eat the delicious organs on the inside. Yeah, exactly. So, there you go, that's the real secret. I'm actually a human-shaped crustacean this entire time. Shoot. Isn't this plugged in? Why isn't this working? Yes, it's plugged in. There we go. I won't let anyone boil you. Don't worry, I boil myself. Anime Expo is actually the time to harvest cosplayers, because we steam ourselves for pleasure. It's actually, it's the real secret. At the end of it, the cosplayers, the old experienced cosplayers, they find the boiled alive ones, and then they eat them to gain their knowledge and experience. It's the real secret. That's how experienced cosplayers actually get all their knowledge and everything. They suck out the brains of old cosplayers. So, here I am. I'm just heat sealing my foam. Am I gonna go to Impulse? I'm gonna go to Impulse if I know people who go to Impulse. That is the honest answer. I wasn't really planning on it. I really shouldn't seal this foam too much. The reason I don't like this heat gun is that my other heat gun just has a switch on it automatically, so if I don't need it, I turn it off, and then when I do need it, I turn it on. But this one, when you turn it off, it does this stupid "I'm cooling" thing, and to actually turn it off, you have to, like, unplug it, and that's a pain in the ass. I don't know who designed it.
It's clearly for professional people or some shit, and I'm not a professional, so I don't need that level of, like, thing. So yeah, okay. Uh, I've lost track. Anime Impulse. Maybe. If I do go, it's only gonna be on Saturday. Um, and it might be... I don't know how long Impulse lasts, cause... yeah. Cause it might also only be for, like... yeah... I don't know, it's just like, there's so many cons nowadays, like, I don't feel the urge to go to all of them, because if I do, I would have no free time. Okay. Okay, it's good. I've caught up to all the messages. I've talked about, the real truths of the cosplay world, and I've talked about, going to Anime Impulse. Perfect. Um, so I don't know if it's also supposed to be, like, harder than hell at Impulse, and, like, if it's at the OC Fairgrounds, that is not indoors, that is majority outside, and to be honest, as much as I joke about steaming myself like a crab, I would really prefer not to. Um, and that seems to me like if a con is that hot and it's all outdoors, that seems to me like an excuse to wear some silly cosplay outfit, like some silly cosplay bikini I actually don't give a shit about. But I don't have one right now, so I guess I have the Chun-Li swimsuit. Do you think so fun fact for people who don't know, Anime Impulse is a smallish kind of con in uh Southern California. The one this coming up this next weekend is actually in Orange County, which is the problem. Orange County is gonna have a heat wave. That's why I'm wearing a crop top and leggings on stream right now. I'm hoping to not get banned by Twitch. I read the TOS. They were like, you can wear whatever you wear outside. And I was like, I wear this outside, so please don't ban me. I would be sad. But you know, Twitch OS and being consistent and applying the Twitch support actually and applying the rules consistently. It's not a strong suit of theirs, so we'll see what happens. So yeah, I guess I'm a Chun-Li swim like better than some IRL streamers right now. Well, you see, we haven't done the hot tub stream yet. You know, the hot tub stream, it'll be great. I'll just be knitting in a hot tub. Um, that's it. That's the stream. I do not actually. Where is that other piece? There should be another piece like this, that's shaped like this, and I know it because before I streamed, I sand all my pieces, because I don't want to do that on stream, and I do not want to die. You like my Yor? Oh shit, that's where it is. And I already turned it off. And see, this is the problem. Alright, now that I have it on off, it says cooling right now, and you can press all these buttons on you want, and it won't stop from the cooling cycle, right? And that pisses me off, because now I have to hard reset it. Thank you, by the way. I also knitted that. Safety? Who needs safety? This is probably hotter than hell. Yeah, that's pretty hot. Fun fact, or not so, things that you shouldn't do but I do anyways. If something is hot and you want to test that it's hot, I use the back of my nail on this because your nail is actually a pretty decent, not heat, why was I keep on, heat insulator. There we go. It's a pretty decent heat insulator, so like, you can touch it and you can kind of feel a little bit of the heat coming off without actually burning yourself. Fun, not safe tips for, testing stuff. Do not do that in a lab. But yeah. On the other hand, though, my original, the reason I'm using this heat gun and not my original heat gun is my original heat gun still kinda works. But, the plug is bent. which, it works, but maybe I wouldn't use it on a slightly suspicious plug. And I feel like some of the plugs in my bedroom are slightly more suspicious than they should be. So we're using this one, which is nice and new and modern and so on and so forth. So should not cause any issues. But yeah, I don't know. To be fair, like, yes, Oh. Oh. I feel like, see, the problem is that, once again, not to, like, rub it in people's faces or anything, but I got my BS in chemistry, and, like, literally one of the first labs we ever did was to basically make ultra pure snow for the purposes of science shit, right? And, the way we made that ultra pure snow is to take nano pure water and like put little droplets of it in liquid nitrogen and then scoop them out and then run it through a spice grinder, a coffee spice grinder, except with the safety disabled and no lid, so it's basically just a spinning blade. So I feel like my BS in chemistry has just made me somewhat bad at safety shit. So there were a lot of things. Alright. I'm sorry. So basically, in order to get this shaped, I'm just curling it into a cylinder and then letting it cool like that. However, normally I would just do this on cam, but I'm trying to do multiple at the same time, so... Ultra, not 100% not the other white powder? Hey man, listen. That was that was actually the backup plan of one of my lab mates. I do not know him that well, because I tried to avoid him, honestly. I feel like that was true for the entire organic lab. He was like, yeah, my plan is to become Breaking Bad, and everyone's like, oh shit, we're yeah, people to avoid. Also, like, follow safety here? Yeah. Real talk, making methamphetamine is actually, like, really, really not that hard. It's not that interesting of a synthesis reaction. And, it's actually relatively simple. A lot of organic professors in the USA just assigned the synthesis as meth as a homework assignment just for funsies. Simple reality is that, believe it or not, most people are kind of shit chemists, so, and also nowadays they made the easiest route to synthesize meth. They make it rather, hard to get the precursors for it, so it's not that big of a deal. If you want to have a fun synthesis for illicit products, that's LSD. LSD takes effort to make. Yeah, I honestly don't know what... I think the other thing that kind of freaked people out is, like, you know, we were all talking, after the lab, right? We were all talking... Labs are kind of stressful, especially, at UCI, our chemistry labs were pretty intensive, so we were all talking about what we did to, you know, take our minds off of it. A lot of them were like, yeah, I go and get drunk! And everyone just kind of laughs, because some of us were underage. I was underage, technically speaking. I wasn't 21. Doesn't matter. Some of us were like, I get into some greens, if you know what I'm saying, and everyone laughs, because all of organic chemists is filled with a bunch of stoners. And then this guy is like, I get high, and everyone laughs, because they're like, yeah, marijuana, funny joke. And he's like, no, cocaine. And we were like, oh, shit. Okay, never mind then. Yeah, so that was the same guy who wanted to do his Walter White experience. I don't know. He actually showed up in some of my, upper div classes, so he didn't, like, fail, which I'm surprised about, but, yeah. I don't know what he's doing in his life, actually. Yeah. Love you. I like some Coke, too. I especially enjoy the refreshing taste of Coke Zero. Completely legal. Alright, so, as you can see, we have shaped our foam. Now it's a nice arm bracer. I can put in the little Velcro pieces, and it will stick onto my arm and be all beautiful like that. Some things are better off not knowing. Probably. I don't think he died. Probably. He's probably just a stoner. Honestly. No. Because a lot of, well, it does depend on the chemistry jobs. A decent amount of chemistry jobs do actually require you to pass a drug test. Probably. Although it does depend, because, like, my job doesn't, I did not have to get drug tested for my current job, so. Funny enough, I could do all the illegal substances that I want, so long as it doesn't affect my work ability. But, I mean, I do work in education. It's basically, like, sort of like academic light. And let's be real, academics can do all sorts of shit in their free time. Anyways, so that's the tea. Anyway, so we have our bracers. This one, obviously, I let Lucky, I guess. I don't know, because a lot of the simplistic jobs that you get as a, like a chemistry QA, like a start intro, most of the jobs you would do were QA stuff, and a lot of the jobs that you would do as a QA, especially here, like the easy peasy lemon squeezy jobs to get right out of college, they pay like shit, but they get you experience. A lot of them is processing the drug tests that people do, you know, for, yeah. So those ones, I do believe they want you to be clean, because you're testing the drugs, so I guess be clean of the drugs? I don't know. To be perfectly honest, I only applied to one of those types of jobs, and I sent out all sorts of job applications to all sorts of chemistry degrees, and as I said before in the past, I did not get that far. I worked a lot in air-sensitive chemistry, which, read from a chemistry perspective, air-sensitive chemistry involving organometallics, which from a non-chemistry perspective sounds whatever, right? I'm just spitting out bullshit. From a chemistry perspective, I work with hot stuff. Yeah, don't have the ether, kids. Even if the TA tells you it's a fun idea. He didn't say huffing the ether was fun. He did say that he nearly got in trouble for huffing the ether when he was an intern. He thought it smelled nice. Ether does smell nice. Diethyl ether is by the way, diethyl ether is a very common solvent in chemistry lab. It has pretty much it's very much like alcohol. It makes you drunk, basically. And it's not actually, wait a minute, I shouldn't say that shit. You know what? Look up this stuff online. You know, I don't actually, is huffing ether even like, because in some countries they drink the shit. I looked it up. I'm just gonna assume, if this drug is an intoxicant that is not alcohol, I will not distribute information on this on stream, just in case, you know, it turns out it's illegal and I didn't know about it, because, that's actually quite common. Like, shit, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of chemistry safety shit I didn't know about, like, apparently out in the real world, you need a permit to work with liquid nitrogen, which was hilarious to me, because back when I was in chem undergrad, we used to hand out liquid nitrogen like it was candy, because it's fun, right? It's really, really cold, it gives out all this gas and everything, you can freeze shit and then break it, and it's like, it's really, even if you get on your skin, you are most likely won't get injured. It's called the Leidenfrost effect, so, you know, it's actually relatively hard to get yourself injured, per se. At least, I thought it was hard to get injured. Apparently, you need a permit in America to work with, liquid nitrogen, which is also kind of hilarious to me, because all the other chemistry people I know also handed out, like, candy. So, who would have thunk? Oh my god. This is, I'm getting some, like, nostalgia here. This is the true smell of some fine, deadly chemicals. So, I had to actually order this online, because they stopped selling contact cement in California, because it contains too many, volatile organic compounds. Yep, ingredients toluene, N-heptane, and ethyl acetate. Good shit. Toluene kills your brain. And gives you cancer. But, let's be real. Your aromatic organic compounds are just, are too good to be true, so we have to use them everywhere. Toluene is the substitute for benzene, which everyone kind of knows is cancerous for you. However, unfortunately, oh my god, I need to spread this way more thick. I should have checked this before I started spreading. It's kind of hilarious to me because, once again, speaking as a chemistry person, toluene is honestly about as bad as benzene. It's really not that better safety-wise, but they couldn't fully ban all these organic solvents because they're just too fucking good. So they're like, yeah, we're gonna ban the cancer stuff, and then we're gonna keep the also cancer stuff, cause I don't know. Like, I'm not really one to, like, speak negatively on regulations and so on. Regulations do help a lot of things in this world. It makes it so I can go to the beach without, seeing turds in the water. But, a lot of the some of the chemistry regulation stuff is pretty suspect from a chemistry point of view. So, I mean, what can I do? I don't write regulations, though. And chances are, they're not ever going to be, like, changed or whatever, so it goes. And heptane, I've been mostly going on about, toluene, but that's because it's the true nasty stuff, but heptanes are also, probably a neurotoxin. Hexanes are definitely a neurotoxin. I got warned about that one. But, yeah. I don't know. Don't huff your contact cement. Probably bad for you. God. Anyways, how's your day, chat? I can talk to you about the wonders and dangers of volatile organic compounds all day, but I have a feeling that's not exactly what you're into. Probably. I don't know. The new Twitch stream idea. It's just you know, I'll be giving out you know, I don't even know what category would that be. That would be, you know, just be a chemistry tutor. Be a chemistry tutor and wear thoughty outfits while tutoring people in chemistry for free and I guess subscription bucks / donations. It's not the worst idea I've heard. Making lessons for creative writing. Very nice, man. That's... So, like, are you focusing more on, like, short stories, character building? You'd pay for that? Chemistry thoughty chemistry tutoring thing? I don't know if I did that, if my job would fire me, or they would be like, yeah, cool stuff. Because, you know, I am working in education. I am doing educational stuff. I should really have, oh, class for beginners? Okay. Because, you know, I'm... Wait a minute. Why is that? Okay. Well then, that's a problem. When I measured this flat, it worked perfectly. And, well, now that it's not flat, it is not working perfectly. I feel like there's geometry things I could have tested before I made my bad decisions in life, and I would have confirmed me what I already knew, but, yes. This is, by the way, how you fuck up your phone. Don't do this, kids. Yes! For once, photographers rest. Teachers gotta hustle any way you can. Yeah, honestly though, I get paid more than a lot of teachers, which honestly does not make me feel good. Like, the worst memory of my life is going up with my company t-shirt on, having a teacher recognize the company I work for, and being like, oh yeah, what textbook should I use? Yada yada yada. And I was like, oh sorry, I work on a different division, I don't work on peer textbooks, yada yada. And I was like, hang on a second. I'm ordering fancy ass coffee from a teacher. And I can afford hipster coffee, and this teacher has to work at a hipster coffee bar to make the ends meet. I feel bad now. Let's overthrow the education system now. Alright. But, yeah, no, that's like, on one hand, I greatly appreciate I have the money to fuck around and do stuff. Like, I am significantly better than people my age, in terms of financial stuff and whatever, and I do heavily appreciate that. That's why I don't really, like, the subscription, that's why I don't really have donation or subscription, stuff. I mean, it's kind of weird, because I also want to, like, be nice to the people who give me money, but, like, I also don't want to incentivize it too much, because otherwise, otherwise I'm like, yeah, you don't, like, I don't actually need the money. I greatly appreciate the money, and, like, I greatly appreciate the money, and I do use it to help fund my streaming stuff, because, like, yes, I am doing well, but it's not like I can throw, like, I can't throw money at my hobbies. Like, it's whatever, complicated shit, right? Basically speaking, I appreciate money, but I don't necessarily need it. Keep that in mind before you give me money. Yeah. But yeah, no, so, like, Jesus Christ. It's very heavily dependent on what district you work at and what subject you teach at, too. Because, like, some districts, they pay a shit ton of money. And, like, and if it's, like, a math or science, they generally pay math and science people more money than they do history and English stuff. But, like, sometimes, it's also, as I said, it's heavily dependent on what district you work on. It's not consistent. God, I will try and keep my teaching rants at a minimum, because, like, it's kind of weird. I've always been a pretty strong believer in a strong public education system. This has not really changed much, but, like, because I work in an education company, they send out newsletters nowadays, and, like, the newsletters cover education stuff, and now I'm much more aware of how we fuck over people. Delightful. Ah, very nice, man. I hope your interview goes very well. What's the job for, by the way, man? Oh, shit. Once again, I have made my glue line far shorter. By the way, the mathematical error I made is that the flat circumference, the flat length and the curved length are slightly different, and the curved length is longer than the flat length. So I should have actually glued this stuff together before I started curving it. But on the other hand, it's going to be covered by something else, and it does not matter. So the long and short of it is, it's a stupid mistake, but also no one's going to see it. Admin assistant. Nice! I actually worked as an admin assistant for a summer job at a moving company, which is, a sometimes swell of, various stories I have. Yes. Atlas Mar here has said the smart mathematical thingy for it, instead of what I generally say, which is not the smart mathematical thing for it. Oh my god, that was the worst part of geometry for me for the proofs things, is that some of the classes, sometimes you actually have to state the name of the proof, and I never remembered the name of the proof. Sometimes actually I could not for the life of me remember any of it, so I put a little arrow and do a proof to show that the logical thing that I was saying was actually true, and so, I mean, I got full credit, but also, like, holy shit, it's a good thing my professor, that was with geometry, nope, not professor, it was a good thing my teacher was actually willing to, like, read all my shit, but, oh god, he actually used to, I actually, in geometry class was the one time I did excellently in math. Mostly because I'm very good at proofs, and I'm pretty terrible at arithmetic. So, I'm pretty good at, so, Yeah, that's the thing. If it involves actually like adding and subtracting, I am so shit at it. I've gotten C's in all my math classes that require adding and subtracting, and A's in math classes that don't require adding and subtracting. So there you go. So that was actually part of my problem too for discrete, not discrete. Discrete math is its own thing. Differential equations. For differential equations, I actually did not bother memorizing the different methods of doing differential equations. I was just like, ha ha ha, I've gotten 100% on the quizzes. And to do that, I've always just derived how to do them on the quiz without ever bothering to memorize them because you can prove them actually relatively simplistically, but that's easy to do enough on the quiz where they're only testing you one by one on each particular way to solve a differential. On a midterm, they're testing you on like 5, and I did not have time to prove all of them. Don't do that. It's funny to me because like I always thought my brother was an arrogant asshole. And I still kind of think that sometimes. He's less of an asshole. I'd still say he's relatively arrogant. And I was like, ha! That's why I'm a better student than my brother, because I don't assume, just by default. Oh my god, I should have actually marked the centers of these things instead of just guesstimating it. It's okay, it's okay. As I said, it's not going to be super visible, so it's not that big of a deal. Actually, I can mark the center of this one relatively easily. Probably can't really mark the center of that one. Yeah, I always thought my brother was an arrogant asshole, and, you know, I used this entire doesn't memorize math things as proof of arrogancy, because he was like... And lo and behold, I did the exact same thing, which proves I too am an arrogant asshole, and that's not a great thing to discover. You know, I also generally require not so much more time on quizzes. I have, like... Okay. And now, there you go. You got your bracer. Nice and pretty and pristine, except for ignoring these slight miscalculations over there. It's okay, it's gonna be covered. RIP. Actually, I mean, to be honest, I'm pretty sure I could, like, it's not gonna fully cover my arm per se, if I do cut it, but I'm not an asshole. I try to exhibit my best behavior on stream and social media, cause I know that this shit lasts forever, and me being an asshole in real IRL won't. Pure as an angel. I try not to be a complete asshole, but I will say I won't say I'm necessarily nicer off. I'm not necessarily nicer on stream or something like that. I would say I'm much more blunt IRL, which I wouldn't say it's necessarily a sign of an asshole, but my true opinions on some stuff can be a little bit on the rude side, and I try not to do that, as I said, on stream because it's public. All right, God. It's like I enjoy how nice and smooth. I enjoy that all the smoothness and it looks relatively clean and ever. I do not appreciate how I fucked up the calculations. It's all right, as I said. No one's gonna see it, so I don't need to worry. All right, let's continue on. This is the most amount of fun I've had gluing for a while. Although I will say, gluing with contact cement is actually kind of fun, because like it's not instantaneous, but it's pretty quick. Anyways, right, right. I was talking to people about life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Um, I hope you have all three of them. If not, I think that's technically a violation of the U.S. Constitution, but then again, the U.S. Constitution also allows violations of itself within the document, which is a logical contradiction, maybe. I don't know. I'm also not a lawyer. God. This one guy who does like event planning stuff and whatever asked me about like legal stuff, like, oh hey, to take pictures of people at our event, do we need to have them sign a contract? Yada yada. And I was like, I mean, no, maybe? Depends. And I was like, you realize I'm not a lawyer, right? I have, anything I say about contracts or your, like, First Amendment rights or whatever is complete and utter horseshit. I don't know Jack. I know, roughly speaking, you are allowed to take photos of people on public property. I know that much because, trust me, I've had to argue with people who've taken my picture in public property. Because they're like, it's legal though! And it's like, yeah, but you're still being an asshole. That's the point of this. But, the, like, conventions are technically not public property, I don't think. But, also speaking, like, if you're using this image to advertise your convention, that changes the legal stuff. And so, oh, fucking Christ. The one image, the one creeper story I actually have, the worst creeper story I have, is not from a convention. It was actually, something that happened, you know, in the public sphere. It's kind of funny, despite all the people talking about con creepers or whatever, in general, I would say I've had bad experiences at con, but I've never had full creepy experiences at con. Um, but once I was 16, I believe I was 16? I was underage. I was under 18. Sometime in my late teens. I was eating ice cream, as an innocent person does. I was eating an ice cream cone. I was eating vanilla ice cream. This adds context. And it dripped on down my arm, and I was just like, you know, I licked it off of my arm, because, like, whatever, right? Ice cream, it's my skin. Who cares? And then at that moment, I was licking the ice cream off my arm. Some guy comes up to me and like kind of giggled and took a photo of me. And like I was just kind of like in shock about what happened, and before I could say anything, he ran off. I was like, "What the fuck?" Yeah. So, that moment kind of lives in my memory forever. Sometimes I kind of wonder if like if I go onto like naughty websites, there's gonna be some image of me licking ice cream off my arm or some shit, and uh, like, could I do anything about that? Do I have any legal recourse? Because also, like, I know the context of that was relatively innocent, but, like, the actual purpose of that was relatively innocent, but the context of that could definitely be made really creepy. And, yeah, it's like, I just hope that, I hope that's, you know, if you took a photo of my feet, I would be delighted, maybe. At least it's, I mean, it's weird, but it's, listen, even like looking back on it, I'm like, oh shit, that could definitely be photoshopped into something far worse than it actually was. And yeah. Also, I feel like I shouldn't like this like I shouldn't have to add any more details, but I was doing this while I was at school. Technically speaking, Chinese school, which is which happened at obviously not an actual places, but it was at a community college campus, so like it's still a school. So that's great. Honestly, wonderful. Nothing wrong about this whatsoever. Anyways, Jesus Christ, I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that. But real talk, if you see any like suspicious image of me online on the internet, just tell me. I don't even know if I could do anything about it, but at least I can be like, well, that actually ended up on the internet. I'm horrified. Wonderful. You don't get feet people? I also don't get feet people, but um, you know, it is also not my place to judge people's naughty pleasures in life. So long as people do it with consent and doesn't involve underage people, which if it does, we might have some problems. that was definitely not quite the real center. It's okay. Weird shit always happens at schools. Yeah, I remember at my high school too, right off the school campus, when I was walking, I walked to school, to and from school, I lived pretty close to that high school. Um, on the way back to my house from high school, there was a guy who used to hand out, like, Bibles and whatever to try and convert people or some shit. Yeah, it was fun though. I used to walk back sometimes with a friend of mine, and we were trying to, like, convince each other to take each other's Bible, because we're like, hey, free Bible, yo! Don't you enjoy fine literature in life? And it's free. 100% free. Um, he didn't take it. I think I just. Oh, fuck me. Jesus Christ. Man, that's just weird, yo. Like, holy shit. Like, I would never, I wouldn't even, like, I would never post, like, weird fetish, like, I wouldn't even post pictures of my mom. Just cause, like, my mom has this big thing against, she doesn't like having her image being shared on social media on the internet, so, like, for Mother's Day or anything, I never post pictures of my mom. I don't post pictures of my dad, but that's mostly because, um, I actually have pictures of him, but he never smiles. It's kind of hilarious, actually, because there's a art movement called the German Depressives, German Depressive movement, and I feel like the term of that just fits my dad perfectly. Admittedly, his family, whatever German ancestors he's had are probably like 200 years, like they immigrated from Germany way back when. But also, he lives in he comes from Pennsylvania, where there are a bunch of inbred hillbillies. So, like, he's very German, technically speaking. Even though, oh my god, where my dad's from, I was talking to him about that, about like random stuff, and I was making cracks about his hometown probably being filled with meth, and I was like, yeah, that guy meth dealer probably has more teeth than, I mean, more guns than teeth, and then he laughed. He was like, where I'm from, I mean, that's probably true for everyone there. And I was like, yeah, actually, uh, people up in there don't really, oh boy, they don't really, get around much in life. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, oh god, ugh. I don't whatever. I don't understand. There is a certain segment of people who overshare a lot of personal information online, and I do not understand them. At this point, I just accept that I don't really understand them, and I live for a better day. By the way, off topic, but I did actually buy an overhead cam setup thing, so at the very least, you'll actually be able to sort of see what I'm working on. Woohoo! It's probably I chose to buy that over buying a new. I unfortunately it's still gonna be shit webcam, so we'll see how that works out. So, but at least we'll be able to see what I'm doing, even if the quality of the footage is not that great. But I feel like it doesn't have to be that great, to be honest. I don't know. Like, I'm just gluing stuff together, yo. Like, I'm not doing like fine tiny little details. So, should be good. But yeah, off topic. I don't even know how that thought came up. It was like something, uh, oversharing public information. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Speaking of my public oversharing of information, I could make it even more high quality now. Aha! Yeah. Oh no, actually, I was thinking about, I was warning all you people about getting like, toluene and shit, and here I am, like, fucking gluing my fingers together, because I'm using, just a piece of scrap foam instead of an actual brush for the contact cement. And I was like, oh yeah, I should order that on Amazon. I was like, oh shit, what did I do with my silicone brush money? I was like, oh right, I used it to buy an overhead cam thing instead. Great choices in life. I really should buy a silicone brush. I heard that for this type of purpose, they are excellent. Um, but, I don't know. I've never actually tried one. I do have silicone brushes, but they're for cooking, and, you know, I do a lot of dumb shit, but I do not mix my cooking shit with my craft shit. Uh, that's a level of stupidity I've yet to reach. You know, clearly I'm down for, like, getting contact cement. But on the other hand, like, I feel like the wearing gloves thing in crafting is kind of like the wearing glove thing in chemistry, right? Like, yeah, you're supposed to wear gloves in chemistry, but also for some shit, like wearing gloves in chemistry, really does kind of affect how well you can do the chemistry stuff. So like, you don't want to do it. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Anywho, so I have two sort of arm guards down. Um, the edges are not pretty, but they should not be seen. I might clean them up just out of. It's also a little bit hard to clean them up at this point because it's all like twisted and so on. But out of principle, I might just clean them up. Um, and yeah, see how it goes there. Right. Anywho, anyone got plans for the weekend? I know I was talking about um what is it, Anime Impulse? Because that is a convention that is happening in Southern California, which is. Yeah. A con outdoors during what's supposed to be a historical. Is that a historical heat wave? I don't know. Everyone was saying it's gonna be 100 degrees and like how bad that is, heat wave waves and everything. But like, I feel like we've maybe it's like historical for this time of year, but it's definitely been over 100 in Orange County, even this year. So I don't know why everyone's kind of panicking about it. It's like, um, you were here, right, for the rest of the year. But yeah. I don't know. If I go to okay, real talk. If I go to Anime Orange County, uh what's a cosplay actually this is the Twitch audience. The Twitch audience doesn't actually see what I cosplay over the Instagram audience. I don't know. I might put a poll on Instagram if it's like if I go to Anime Impulse OC, what cosplay do you want to see more photos of? Cause like to be honest, I don't know. Well, it doesn't matter. I don't know how many photos I would even get of something like cosplay. But I don't know. I feel like that's the only thing that you should care about in terms of the social media stuff, because that's the stuff you'd be theoretically seeing, but fuck if I know. Not sure what you want to do yet. I feel you on that. Uh, yeah, that will work. That works. I was like, it's a 3-day weekend too, right? Like, it's Labor Day weekend. Um, my sense of time and dates has deteriorated greatly ever since like COVID shit has happened because I don't need to think about it. Like, it happens for me. I look at my calendar and um it tells me, oh yes. Well, I suppose that's good. I don't have work on Monday. But honestly, what my plan was for that weekend was to uh my plan for that weekend was to make some homemade mooncakes, because it is not this weekend, it is next weekend. Next weekend. The 10th. There we go. Um, but it will be the Mid-Autumn Festival, which often in American culture gets called the Moon Festival and or the Moon Cake Festival if you really want to really want to hurt me. But to be fair, that's the best part of the Mid-Autumn Festival is that you get to eat mooncake. And mooncake is delicious and awesome, and I love it. And probably to an unhealthy degree, especially considering a lot of mooncake is, to be blunt, kind of stale. It's often that at least a lot of... So it's a pretty common tradition to give out mooncakes to friends and family and shit. And it's also a pretty common thing to, like, it also goes on sale after the festival, so if you're a really cheap bastard, you buy the mooncakes when they're on sale, and then you gift it to people for next year. The thing is mooncakes don't really go bad, per se. Uh, um, yeah, I don't think they go bad. Uh, the way that they cook it makes it so... So, at least the mooncakes that, everyone in America thinks of, the Cantonese style wisdom, they have this kind of chewy outer brown, golden brown texture. They achieve that by putting lye in the dough. Which is also why you have to bake your mooncakes a while before the actual festival, because you have to kind of let your mooncakes, detoxify. They don't use lye nowadays, I swear. But they do actually use sodium bicarb. They do use, like, sodium bicarb or sodium carbonate to make it nice and basic. It's the same reaction for pretzels and everything. It's just more obvious, I guess, because in pretzels, it's only you only dip the outside for a little bit, and then in mooncakes, it's actually in the dough, so it's a little bit more potent. Yeah. So, anyways, as a result, mooncakes can pretty much last forever. There's no bacteria in the dough, and then the inside's it's been nicely cooked and it's very sugary, so it doesn't really get mold either. Um, so yeah. Also, you're supposed to get drunk, but that's true for all Chinese holidays. Honestly, every Chinese holiday is basically an excuse to get drunk, and which is fun. I mean, if you enjoy getting drunk, please drink responsibly. But yeah, what's time? I have to be a little bit better about that because I do still technically. I mean, I have a job. I can't completely fuck over my job necessarily, but like, yeah. I mean, like, honestly, I used to like I wouldn't say I necessarily never cared about fashion or whatever, but I pay actually, it's kind of funny because a lot of people I hear, like, started wearing more sweats and everything because of COVID. And I feel actually, hell yeah, my friend! Dude, chapter Lunar New Year's, right? When I was in high school, all the Asian kids, those first day is generally when you get the most drunk. All the Asian kids, the day after, we were all wearing sunglasses because we were all hungover. Hell yeah. Don't take that as an endorsement of underage drinking. Hashtag drink responsibly. Yeah, but yeah, seriously. God, I have to warn people too. They were like, "Oh, what are you planning for next weekend?" I was like, "Ah, yes, it is the great traditional Chinese holiday." And they were like, "Ah, so you're going to be with family, hanging out, enjoying a night of peace, and staring at the moon." And I was like, "Yes," and getting drunk off my ass, as is tradition. If you ever read Chinese poetry, by the way, it's so easy to make Chinese poetry because you drink about 4 topics: the moon, the mountains, how much you fucking miss home, and alcohol. And you just combine one of like 2 or 3 of these things into one poem, and you got like a masterpiece. People will be singing your praises forever. Li Bai, most famous Chinese poet, half of his poems are about how much he loves alcohol and drinking alcohol while staring at the moon. Good shit. Also missing home. He also did miss home. And these are the poems that you're supposed to memorize as a child to show you the greatness and sophistication of Chinese culture, so that when you're feeling particularly overwhelmed by a scene in nature, you can just be like, ah. Exactly.
That's exactly how it works out, actually. Holy shit. It's also hilarious because a lot of Chinese people actually can't really drink that much. Yeah. It's a thing. It is a thing. Alright. Now, my viewers, we've moved on to the actual scary bit. So, I've mentioned before I miscalculated how the shaping of this goes, and I fixed it, obviously. But now, I have to cut actual little pattern pieces out of it, because I fucked up. Which is a little bit terrifying, because I do want to try and... I kind of want to have a little bit of leftover pleather. I want to try and, like, cut this in a way that makes them... Oh my god, this is not... The pencil is not marking the leather. I should have figured. Okay. We're gonna tape the... we're gonna tape the foam to the leather. If you're an actual leather crafter, please look away in horror and disgust. And, try not to vomit as, you look at the stream. But, I don't want to bother trying to figure out how to mark it in a way that's, sensible while on stream. But yeah, it's okay. God. The other thing, oh god. The other thing where, like, Chinese people get drunk off their asses? Weddings, holy shit. God, there's a good Chinese film, not Chinese, it's by Ang Lee, so Taiwanese, technically, it's called The Wedding Feast. Has some technically questionable materials for the modern audience nowadays, just a warning. But, there's a tradition in Chinese weddings that they portray where a bunch of drunk people gather around, go crash into the newlyweds thing, and they're trying to convince them to do fun games that are basic, you know, the prelude to the actual shebang. In this movie, it's extra awkward because the entire plot point of the movie is that the guy who is getting married is actually gay. This is entire, like, way to hide his gayness from his parents, and he's like, holy shit, how do I deal with this? Oh my god. I didn't like this lady before, and now... Well, he did like the lady. That's also a thing. He liked the lady, but, you know, not that way. So... Anyways. What I'm saying is, Jesus Christ. Anyways. God. One of my cousins... She's my second cousin, so, like, not super duper close cousin. My second cousin, I think, actually did that too. She did the entire, like... It's another Chinese tradition where you're supposed to go over and toast every single table that you invite, with a shot of basic rice wine, kind of sake. Maybe it's a bit stronger than that, actually. And, like, she did that. There was, like, 15 tables worth of people. She probably got drunk off her ass. And, like, that's pretty normal. A lot of Chinese wedding stuff is, like, the big traditional Chinese wedding are like, 300 people, so, like, each table is about 10 people, that's 30 people, that's 30 shots. I feel like a lot of the reason that people don't die is at some point of time, they stop drinking the shots and they start just throwing it over their shoulder. And no one, at this point, everyone's too drunk to actually even notice, so, yeah. The alcohol culture. It's a thing. Anyways. I am also hoping that this stuff is going to be able to be glued on to my foam relatively easily. I don't feel like there should be a problem. Honestly speaking, you generally use contact cement to glue leather together, not necessarily foam. But, you never know. There could be some unexpected surprises. The other thing is, too, is that I'm gonna try and avoid gluing the entire piece onto the foam. I'm going to glue the edges, edge to edge, as they say. So that might change some things, maybe. As I said, it is kinda hard to get contact cement in California nowadays. So if I can preserve all my contact cement, I will do so. Then I'm gonna... God, this kinda sucks. Spent all this time making my beautiful leather, and here I am,
just cutting it with cutting it and just hoping it goes well. It's not exactly the vibe I would want to go for. Alright. Ideally, these pieces are symmetric. In actuality, I'm not sure. Did some not so great stuff with the cut job, but we'll see. We will see. Alright. So, just, the only thing, as I said, that may affect this is that, I don't know how well the puffy paint is going to paint. I'm not exactly even sure what puffy paint is made out of. I do know at least this brand is somewhat stretchy and is pretty flexible. So at the very least, I know it can flex around stuff, but, I don't know if it's gonna fuck up the, I don't know if it's gonna fuck up, the, contact cement. I don't think it should. Contact cement is... it's basically rubber, if I recall, dissolved in toluene. Good stuff. So it really just sticks to itself, mostly. I believe the toluene just helps it penetrate into the material, which helps, and then it gets absorbed? Absorbed. I think it's absorbed. There's a difference between adsorbed and absorbed, and I would not be able to tell you the difference just by,